Hello YouTube. How are you doing today? Rabin here. So today's topic, I think you have already known. It is about OBS, OneStream, OBS, StreamLabs, OBS, and xSplit broadcaster. So we are going to take a look at these three. And I know there is a lot of YouTuber who actually go into very much more detail into the technical specifications for each. But I think I need to take a different approach. So before everything, are you online yet? Are you in the chat? Are you in the chat or the channel? Let me reduce the volume. It's so much. Yeah. So if you are in the chat, say hi. And I am monitoring it in different screens. So when I'm going to share the OBS screen and StreamLabs and also xSplit, that one will be in a different screen. So far, OBS, I think everybody who are into live stream or have done live streams, at least 2 or 3, they are very aware of OBS. So OBS stands for Open Broadcasting Studio or software. So OBS Studio is very popular because it is free. It is 100% free and not only used by live streamers. It is a great tool for Hi Nilesh. It is a great tool for video recording and in professional scale. So if you have a very good hardware, you can use OBS to do NDI based recording, and those are like really high level processing that you can do with OBS. But today's topic, we are talking about day-to-day users, you and me and everyone else in this spectrum that we are going to talk. We use for teaching purposes or tutorial purposes or sometimes sharing games, etc. So for those people, I think it is important to dig down that who can use what. So I have gone through OBS at least for last 1.5 years, and I realized you need to have a certain level of understanding, especially about streams, especially about encoding, especially whether you are going to use the CPU or GPU and all these. So overall, I have collected feedback from many people. So what I have found that actually OBS requires a bit more system resources. So what it mean by system resources? So you need a moderately good CPU and also moderately good GPU. Whereas other software, they can actually work with a little bit lower than like traditional laptops with Intel graphic cards. Some of them will work with it. And now the new trend, that web-based streaming studio. Right now, this is the one I'm using. So I'm using OneStream Live Studio to when go live. So I can actually share my OBS screen and also share my StreamLabs screen, and same as xSplit. So this is only possible because I'm using a browser-based streaming service. So if you're using a desktop-based service, it will be tough to share the screens of 3 other desktop-based streaming programs. So there is that. So the new way of going about it is that is not for the sake of talking about OneStream. So you have other program like Vidyard and few other things, Restream and all of them. So they will provide the studio and they will give you the core features. Means you have overlays, you have comments to show on screen and all those things. And that makes it so much comfortable for you to use the product. And most of all, you do not need a high-end desktop or a high-end computer to go with. So that is different story. Is web-based studio, web-based multicast streaming services. So we are going to take a look at OBS first. So let me share the screen and at least you will know that what we are going to talk about today. So today's topic are these, and let me just go to the next. So the parts are here: OBS, StreamLabs OBS, and xSplit Broadcaster. So we will go inside each of them and take a look at configuration, take a look at other options that they have put in. So I can tell you for sure that StreamLabs OBS is a port, or you can say a fork from original OBS, because the interface and even inside the configuration, you will notice very, very similar things, but they have put it in a layer on top. And what they did, they built an ecosystem around it. So think about Android phones. So why there is so many Android phones? Because what they do, they take the core Android OS architecture, then they put their own layer on top. For example, Xiaomi have their own, and they have Samsung have their own layer on top of Android. So you can think of it in this manner, that they took OBS and then they added more features on top of it and make it simplified. Because if you are just getting started with live streaming, OBS can be overwhelming. Even now, sometimes I feel it is a bit overwhelming when going about OBS. So these are the topics, and at the end we will do a breakdown, and yeah, we'll go from there. So what I will do, I will stop this screen sharing and take a moment and see if somebody is around. So are you guys still around? Nilesh, Andrew. So Andrew asked about vMix. So I wanted to do vMix, but the thing is, vMix, you have to be a paid user before using vMix. This is one thing I know about them. And to be honest, I was overwhelmed by vMix when I tried it last year, because it is a production level utility, means professional production teams are using that. And because of that, the complexity inside it is pretty overwhelming. I mean, if you think OBS is overwhelming, vMix is way much more overwhelming for me. At least that is what I thought. So thank you for sticking around, Nilesh. And now I'm going to share one of my OBS screen. So I had to set a different camera because right now my camera is in use. So I had to use a different camera so it doesn't break my actual stream. So let me just share the window. In fact, share my second screen so you can have a look. Okay, so let me maximize this. Right. So this is OBS in nominal form. So if I add the scenes and if I add the sources, so you can see it is in this layout. So you have scenes over here and your sources per scene. So if I change, it will change in this manner. So let me go back. And now yes, of course, Andrew. But yes, I am thinking of vMix, and pretty soon I am going to do it. Yeah, vMix for one-person show, vMix actually for production level. So when there is like multiple different sources coming in, NDI, via call, and they have telephony system, and like amazing amount of things in vMix. And okay, let me not deviate from the topic. So here we have, you can see this is the latest OBS. So I have uninstalled my older OBS, which was OBS 27. So I have installed 29. So this is the latest of the latest. And so you can see there is a lot of options in here. And yeah, I know what you mean, Nilesh. So right now I'm using a encoder 264, which is CPU based encoder. And if you notice that my stream is actually configured, I can see the comments from you on the screen. I hope you can see that. And what I'm doing, I'm using a CBR bitrate at 5500 kbps with a keyframe interval of 2 seconds, and preset is super fast. So less pressure on the CPU. Then video is set to 1080p and FPS set to 30. So even with that, so I know my GPU is a bit older. It's 1070, the older generation. And my RAM is DDR5 and CPU is 12 or 13 generation i7. So that's what I have. Now let me make this screen bigger so you can see this. And I'm using DirectX 11. Now, what we are going to take a look with these settings before even started streaming. What is the pressure coming to the CPU? So if you look at the bottom, I know it will be very small to look at the screen, but the yellow color one, you can see the FPS and frames missed due to rendering lag. It's not a big deal. I mean, this can happen because I don't have a skipped frames due to encoding lag. That will become a problem. Now, you can see that sometimes it's generating frames. It takes longer time. So, yeah, it takes longer time. And even though OBS is so much more things you can do, especially in audio, you can mix with VST plugins, and that can enrich your stream to the maximum level. Means you do not need a microphone processing software. Every audio processing OBS can do by themselves. Now, because StreamLabs is based on OBS, by default, they support all of it. So, StreamLabs is following a freemium model, means they have a free version. But if you want to enter their ecosystem completely, means if you want their overlays, if you want all of their features, or if you want multi-streaming, you have to go for ultra planning. So they have this ultra plan per month you pay, and then you get so much more additional things. So it's kind of like Envato Elements subscription, but for streaming, only for streaming purpose. But what I have noticed, I have gone through at least 100 YouTube live videos, and I realized that those who are educators, tutors, and similar manner, they will use OBS in their simplest form, means not designed like myself, that I have this kind of design. And okay, coming back over here. So these designs they do not do. They just go with a very simple OBS, camera, screen sharing, and they teach things. So that's one way to go about it. And best part for them is it doesn't cost money. So that's like very no-brainer for them. But when I monitored gamers, especially gamers, they actually use StreamLabs. I will show you why. So StreamLabs have these components. Right now you're looking at my screen. You can see Nilesh's comment on the screen and Andrew's comment on the right side. So I've been experimenting, and these are widgets that I pulled in, and the design is available here. I redesigned it so it looks in a 2 different way. I wanted to show that. So that is why I have these examples on screen. Now, that means if you are a gamer, there will be sessions or intermissions where you are going to open your camera and you are going to read the chat. So some of the YouTubers or even gamers when they stream in multiple different channels: Twitch, YouTube gaming, Facebook gaming, all of them. So they won't be able to process each window separately. So this is why StreamLabs came into, StreamLabs built on top of OBS means if you notice all the screens, all the features, even the audio features, all these, just remember some of it, you will see this in OBS, StreamLabs OBS straight away. And there was a time in 2021 or 2020, there was a dark time for StreamLabs OBS because they have gone through quite a lot of scrutiny from very good streamers because they use the name StreamLabs OBS. And upon the public outcry, they have changed the name to StreamLabs Desktop. So now the new name is StreamLabs Desktop. Now we have noticed that there is a lot of frames missed due to rendering lag. So this could be one of the reasons that my GPU is older generation, 6-7 years old. So I didn't find a good reason to upgrade it because GPUs are not cheap. It's very, very expensive. So I think I will run a specific campaign on my live stream that, I am looking forward for this much to get my GPU. This idea is actually I found from a gamer's stream. So I'm trying to configure that system, put it all together for the stream so I can build up the money I need to get the GPU. But beside the fact, the GPU is still GDDR5. So is DDR5 GPU RAM. So I am still having frames missed due to rendering lag. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to exit from here. And okay. Now I'm going to start with StreamLabs OBS. So if you notice from OBS, the StreamLabs also have the similar things in there. So you have live scenes and then you have sources. So all of them, they put it together with their ecosystem. Means, do you need these amazing scenes for your stream? You can do that. You can buy them. But you will notice that almost all of it is under Ultra. The program itself is open source and free. But the rest of the things, not all of them, but especially the overlays, you can see the overlays are pretty cool. And you can see the camera frames and everything are really, really cool. So this comes with the other things such as the chat boxes, then the special alerts and goals and all these things. So what they did, they built up an entire ecosystem, just like Apple. So if you have Apple Watch, it will work great with iPhone, it will work great with Mac. So they build up that system. Now, you can see they have alert box libraries for different styles. And all of them are coming with animations. But of course, when you see this logo at the corner, it will cost you money. Means this one is for Ultra. So what is the cost of Ultra? So Ultra cost is $19 per month and or $149 per year. That is StreamLabs whole subscription costing. But that's not all, because these individual items also have their own cost. So don't forget that. And now they do provide their widgets for free. So they have a lot of widgets. The custom ones, of course, custom ones is part of Ultra, but some of them you can actually find it online, then get it and install it. Now they also have App Store. So what this does, so App Store allows you to install apps, like you can use custom things like this You can create badges, you can add lower thirds into your stream, make it much more interactive. So I have done that. I have added all those lower thirds and all, but without using their subscription. Now you can see in the apps manager what are the apps you have purchased. So if you become the member of Ultra, then all the apps are additional $12 per month. So if you want all the apps, and what they included, they also included a highlighter. So what this does, it takes, OBS already had a feature called replay buffer. So they take those things and they added a mini editor over here, which will automatically cut it down to a smaller bite-sized pieces. You can do this, or you can import the clip from your computer. So however you want to do it. So far, this feature is still free. Now I'm going to show their dashboard. So their dashboard has a lot more elements inside, and they will also provide you a merchandising store, your tips page where you can collect tips from people. So let me open that, and all right, I need to move this screen. Okay, so let me move the screen. So you can see, you can design your alert boxes and you can see how it will look like. So if I initiate a alert, it should come out over, you can see here. So let me send another alert. So they will provide you all these things: tipping, theme, CloudBot, charity, merchandising store, emote maker, logo maker, intro maker, biolink tool, clip editor, and social reminders. All these are very, very good elements for gamers. So let me show you how the other things looks like. So you can see the notice over here. So now you know that all these elements interactive elements can be put inside. So you can bring in chat also, and you can design how you want the chat to look like. Okay, this one is not free, so you can create your tipping page, and so this is the tipping page for myself. So you can do simple things like this, and yeah, so they help you to start a recurring income from your streams when you are helping people out. So I think that OBS is OBS. You can use it for recording and many other purposes, but if you are going to go and do live streams, I think StreamLabs will give you the most bang for your bucks. But we are still going to look at xSplit. So xSplit is an individual application, but the problem with xSplit is it doesn't have a free version. So before we go into that, and so I I was showing that you can have tipping pages, you can create your own merchandising store. And so I tried to design some t-shirts. I'm not sure anybody will like or not, but let me just show you guys how it looks like. So I call it cosmically comical nerd. So I haven't changed this part yet, but this is the design. And you can see that it's possible to have your own t-shirt store and stuff on StreamLabs. So if you are a gamer, you can pull your brands up under the whole ecosystem. But of course, even though the price is 19, you are not going to get 19 out of from StreamLabs. They will take their cut because they are going to process this t-shirt design, the printing, and how it is going to shipped out to the people throughout the world. So they will take a charge of it, but you still make a, let's say, 25% or 20% of the total cost, total price. So you can do these things, and then you can create quickly. If you are a gamer or if you are an educator, you can just quickly create a logo using their system. The BioLink tool is also integrated, and you can actually integrate it inside StreamLabs. So I'm going to close these because then I need to go back to the original layout. You can see that pretty much what OBS have, they have it too. So in the general settings, almost one-to-one identical, besides some other details. So in multi-streaming, you can't do multi-streaming unless you upgrade to Ultra. Now, you can choose one of the streaming servers that you want to stream to. It can be YouTube, it can be Facebook, or it can be your custom RTMP channel. So then you will notice that this is also pretty much the same thing with OBS because it is built on top of OBS. So almost everything is identical. Even the audio, the video, the output resolution, FPS, and until the advanced format, almost all of them are OBS. Then the additional things that you will see is overlay files, notifications, appearance, remote control. So this is an interesting thing. So you can use your mobile phone to remote control the StreamLabs. So they make it, so imagine you are playing the game and also streaming. So your friend can actually control the stream when to change the scene. So all these can be done with StreamLabs. Then you have game overlay. So when you are playing the game, it can actually show the overlays that will be visible during the gameplay. So you will be able to see the comments real time, even your game is full screen. So this not only applies to game, it can apply to educational system as well. Means you can monitor the comments that is coming in and reply to it. Right now, what I'm doing, so I kept 3 different windows open, and I'm monitoring all the chat is going on 2 different channels. Then I'm replying to it. So I have to keep track here on my left, on my right. So all of it. So they simplified it. So I can just keep my eye on one screen and I can see the overlays. So the benefit is these overlays are not visible in screen share. This is very interesting. So the game is being shared or the screen is being shared, but the overlays that you can see the comments is not shared. It's only for your screen. So this is something very, very additional advantage for the gamers, educators, and everything in between. Then you have get support button and Ultra. So yeah, you can see this is the price of Ultra. But I do have my link for Ultra. So if you use my link, then you get a 10% discount. Sorry, you get $10 off for a year and $9 off for a month. Well, for monthly is just 1 month, but for a year is for 1 year. So they have other things. So we are very well aware of Melon, which is a web-based streaming utility and very detailed as well. Then you have also Editor Pro, Crossclip, and few other things. So they built an ecosystem just like Apple did. So their products complement each other and they work with each other. And if you go to sources, so you will see alert box, StreamLabs. You can create this kind of stuff, that who is your latest follower, where, and who donated the most, the most recent donor. These are, you can create subscription goal. So that is what I'm going to try to use for my GPU. So I spilled my secret. Then you can have chat box, you can have a jar. Tip ticker, it shows a ticker tape in the stream that who is being donating how much. Then you can have spin wheel, sponsor banner. This is very interesting that the sponsors for your live stream, they can put banners in your stream in a specific location. And this is also really nice feature, and I talked about it in my previous last week's stream, but I'm going to talk about it again. This is very interesting. So if you happen to have a moderately popular stream, what you can do, you can use the media share feature. So if somebody want to share a video during your live stream in your stream, they can pay certain amount of money to play that video. So it is pseudo advertising, but think of it, it's also a monetization option for you. So all these things they have pulled in charities, member goals. You can create polls, you can create games, interactive. You can even have custom widgets. So all these things they have put in, which is outside of OBS. Means in OBS, you can use StreamLabs elements inside OBS. Just now you saw, because those are from StreamLabs and Stream Elements. But to put it under one hood, StreamLabs does it pretty well. Now, we are going to move on to the third one, which is xSplit. So before going there, I would say I am a long-term user of xSplit VCam. And I would say this is probably the best virtual camera software that I have ever seen. It has AI tracking frame, means it will keep you in the frame regardless if you move in your camera. So all these features, xSplit actually is very good in VCam product. Now, I was a little bit disappointed with the broadcaster. So maybe they had their different point of view because it is called xSplit broadcaster. So you have taken a look at how StreamLabs desktop look like, and you can also change the layout, how you want to see it, where you want to see it. If you like the audio mixer over here, you can just drag and drop. And pretty much everything is under one ecosystem. And that's about StreamLabs. Now I'm going to close StreamLabs. Now we are going to the number 3, which is xSplit. Now this one disappointed me in 2 different ways at the very beginning. You see, even though StreamLabs is asking for Ultra for the overlays and stuff, but the basic elements, widgets, alerts, chat, all these are still free under their ecosystem. Now, when I start xSplit, this is what I greeted with at the very beginning. Now, it says subscribe for $5 per month only. Now, This one, the biggest drawback is actually over here. So remember, this is not based on OBS. This is a closed application, not open source. They have their own infrastructure for this. So what I'm going to show that how it is different. So when I did my testing on StreamLabs, I didn't have any skipped or dropped frames. I didn't do that in the live. The reason being, I am live from the same computer, so it might impact my streaming quality. So I hope you can understand that one. But in OBS, I have skipped frames, but in StreamLabs, I didn't have any skipped frames. The settings are same: 5000 kbps bitrate, x264, 1080p, 30 fps. All are same, but I didn't have any dropped frames. Not exactly sure what happened there. Maybe my configuration on OBS, which I didn't tweak so much because it's a new installation. Now I'm going to go through this. So the first thing I noticed, this watermark. So if you want to broadcast with xSplit Live broadcaster, you will probably not broadcasting with it. Oh, why so? Because nobody likes to show the watermark in their live stream. Whereas StreamLabs already is open source, like OBS. They build on top of OBS, but they are not doing it. They are not enforcing people to buy the product. You can buy the ecosystem entrance in StreamLabs, but they are not enforcing you to block the alerts, to block the live chat system inside the application. They give those basic things for free. Only the design elements you need to pay. So now these guys, they build up their own plugin and extension infrastructure. So I'm going to show you extensions, add extension, find more extensions. So I would say it is pretty complete in terms of the amount of things they have put in. Means they have their mini app store where you can have parsing audio, presentation packager, stinger creator, all these things. So they have sources. You can see YouTube live chat viewer, YouTube live chat viewer view, notification, Facebook live comments. And then it also have outputs, means where you want to output to. So this is a plugin extension architecture that will only work for them. It will not work for OBS. It will not work for StreamLabs desktop. Another thing that really irked me is the interface. If you are looking at my screen, look at how tiny these texts are. And there is no dedicated broadcast button. You have to do the broadcast from here, and you have to go back to the broadcast menu to stop the broadcasting. And they have this layout wizard, which I find kind of like useless because you can do this by yourself. Not sure why you need this, for what purpose. Maybe the duo presentation you might need, but not really a thing. So the interface, I felt it is too cumbersome to use because it's not easy to design. Yes, there is a stream button over here, but yeah, it's a distance. Your mouse need to travel from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen to do this job. So if you're in a big resolution screen, this screen is 2554 pixel, 16 by 9 aspect ratio. So WQHD for this monitor, and that it requires a lot of traveling to reach to the stream button. Now they do have alerts, they do have widgets, but the thing about them is, so each widgets are individual. So Facebook have their own widgets, YouTube have their own widget, to each have their own widget. So if you are multi-streaming in 3 places, you need to have 3 widgets in the screen. That's the thing to remember. So all of this comes into play when using this, but I will show you why I didn't like another few other things. So this is the screen where you configure your RTMP destination. Now let me show you how this screen looks like in OBS. I'm not even going to go StreamLabs. I'm just going to go back to OBS and show that how it looks like. What happened to this? Too many things running at the same time. So this is our OBS. Come on, OBS. So I'm going to go to settings and going to stream. And this is actually what you need for your RTMP settings versus if you go to, I mean, seriously, these people, I can understand that they included the video encoding, keyframes and everything else into multiple elements inside it. But this doesn't give a confidence in UX design. I mean, if I give this to any day-to-day people and they start to use these, I think they will make the mistake in the very first step, because they will be wondering what is description, what is stream key, what is share link, what is what. There's few hundred options on one single screen, which honestly is not necessary. Why would you do this? Okay. Now I go to settings. So they have their own engine. This is the good thing about them. So when I tested it, the highest performing was on this one. No, the highest performing was still StreamLabs. The second one was this one. So you can see in the advanced settings, you can actually pick prefer GPU for video processing. You can do such thing, which I think in certain aspect, StreamLabs also have it. So you can see this is my GPU adapter is pretty old, 6-7 years old, but yeah, it still have 12 GB DDR5. I think DDR5 RAM. So anyway, so this is their system. It's a closed system. You won't find any plugin outside because it is their internal system. Means you have to be in their developer pool to build the plugin. Unlike OBS or StreamLabs, you can start building plugins because it's open source. So the documentation is available widely. So this that is mostly about xSplit broadcaster, and I think it performs well, but to get started with it, I think it will be a bit more challenging because you have to design all the things that you are not familiar with, because most of the time people are familiar with OBS. StreamLabs OBS is just pretty much the same thing with some additional things on top, but this one, it is pretty much everything is custom. So performance wise, it performed pretty well, I would say, because it has its own NVIDIA CUDA engine support. So it did well in the performance. I'm not going to run the performance again because the additional things that I have noticed, that they actually have a where is this? So you can see these are the plugins that I have installed. Almost all of them are free. I noticed there was a system somewhere here to test the stream, which I can't find it right now. They also support NewTek NDI output and something. But where is this? Yeah, I can't find it. So this is one of the troublesome issues with these. But what they have done, I wanted to show that as well. When you go to source, take a good look in the main menu on the left side. You have video network stream, so you can bring in NDI through network. Then you can have lower third, stream chat viewer, Skype feed, instant replay, Facebook widgets, YouTube widgets, scene widgets, video playlist, whiteboard, and then you can add more sources into it. So you can have gamepad visualizer, audio visualizer, and all those things, YouTube live alerts and such. You can also include Google Slides. I think that will be pretty interesting to look at. So, okay, that's it. So what I'm going to do, I go to add source, Google Slides. So I need to paste something. Okay, let me try it out, see if it is right. So there you have it. You can actually interact with the slides. So I'm going to interact, and let me. So I'm going to interact, and at the same time, you guys can check this out. So you can insert a Google slide without the controls. So that is, I guess, one way of looking at it. So I'm going to go through OBS to summarize this stream. For OBS is open source, free, mass adaptation, means thousands and thousands and millions of people are using OBS. Widgets, yes, available, but via third-party plugins. Those are not done by OBS team themselves. Maybe one or two of them, but not all of them. Plugins, yes, mostly open source. So almost all the plugins are open source unless there is something very specific for very tough jobs. Those will be paid ones. Ecosystem, no. So you have to build your own ecosystem. Means you have to bring in the common design. You have to bring in your own design, chat system from third party, and everything else in between. They do allow VST plugins, and this also means that StreamLabs desktop will going to support the same thing because they are based on same code base. Reliability, this is a concern. So you should always keep backups of your OBS settings because sometimes it can go wrong, it can crash, and your settings can go haywire. So what I do, I keep an automatic backup of the OBS settings folder. So all my profiles, scenes, and everything is backed up on the cloud. So one more thing, a tips for you. If you use Stream Elements, if not, go and get a free account. They will allow you to back up your OBS settings and scenes together in their cloud. But I think there is not enough space in there, maybe 500 MB or something. But it's a good thing you have a backup. Multi-streaming, no. So OBS multi-streaming will be going through OneStream Live. Why I am talking about OneStream Live? So Restream will support 5 to 10 social media accounts. Whereas OneStream Live will support 45 plus destinations. Means it will support almost all the countries that have their own live streaming systems. This is, I'm not joking. You can take a look at this. When I go to accounts, add accounts, so this should be, I think I have shown this before. But yes, they support a humongous amount of social destination. So all you just need to go here, put third-party RTMP source, then copy these two and paste it in OBS. Then you are everywhere. So this can go for xSplit, this can go for StreamLabs desktop at the same way. Also, the another reason I like it, because when I do the streaming, it gives me a performance indicator, which is very, very important as a streamer. So I'm going to show in a second. And so performance wise, as I have shown that it had some frames skipped, not even went to stream. So if I went to stream, there will be some frame drops, which didn't happen in the same computer. It didn't happen for StreamLabs. It didn't happen for xSplit. Now, the next big question, I know Nilesh will ask this one, because I know eCam is amazing, but that is solely on Mac, whereas a lot of people are actually on Windows. So in 4K streaming, it is possible with OBS. But remember, to do 4K streaming with OBS, your bitrate need to be above 20,000 kbps, means 20 mbps and above. And your hardware need to be really good to support that resolution. It is possible to support, but it will put a ton of pressure on your CPU and GPU. So be aware of that. Now the next one, StreamLabs OBS. So you can see the core difference is they have some internal plugins which they build their ecosystem with it. So they have their own ecosystem. Yes, they do allow the VST plugins. Reliability, pretty much same with OBS, but I would say a little bit on the stable side. Performance is also good. Multi-streaming you can only do if you subscribe to their Ultra plan. 4K streaming possible, maximum 1080p, 60 fps. Now this is a surprising part for xSplit broadcaster. We are going to see next. So xSplit, the main drawback is the free version comes with a watermark. It's really annoying, and they do have good widgets and internal plugins. Their ecosystem is very closed. They have to be in the developer pool to actually allow development of their plugins and stuff. No VST plugins allowed. Reliability is pretty good actually, almost same as StreamLabs. Multi-streaming is no. Performance is quite okay, almost same as StreamLabs. 4K streaming, yes, 4K up to 240 fps. I don't know who wants to do 240 fps, but technically they allow. It's not put under test, okay? So if you want to put 4K with 240 fps, I think you will need an upload speed of 100 over or something to send that much of frames per second. So what is my thoughts about this? So I have used almost all of the web-based tools and all the desktop-based, almost all, including vMix, including few others, and I think the only one that I haven't touched deep enough, which is eCam. I had a trial, but I didn't use it more than 1 month, I think. So what will be my outcome from this? So if you are new to streaming and you want to use your desktop because you have a gaming desktop and you know that you have 16 GB or 32 GB RAM, it can easily support the OBS requirement, and you do not want to put in money at the very beginning without testing the water. In that case, for you, I would still recommend OBS or StreamLabs desktop. Now, if you are a gamer or if you are targeted to monetization, that you want to bring in more interactivity, more money from your stream, then your obvious choice will be StreamLabs desktop, because you want to build your community where you are getting supported either on YouTube, either on Twitch or Facebook Live. You can use StreamLabs to get that job done. Now, all these monetization features, the ecosystem of all of it, actually StreamLabs provides. Now, the third one, xSplit, is kind of like vMix, but not in that deeper level standard. But just alone 4K up to 200 FPS will not make me pay the money. Because if I pay the money, it seems to me that with $149, with $10 discount, let's say $139, I get much more out of StreamLabs. So I get custom alerts, I get custom, all those labels, that who was my latest follower, who gave me $50, who was the last who paid me something for something. So all these visual elements really level up your streaming game. So if you're a gamer, educator, I think there is not much choice. You will go with you will go with StreamLabs, because xSplit is still new in that arena. If you have not noticed, they actually haven't have the most overlays or stuff. Yeah, Lab Texture, thanks for showing up. I'm almost done. So now 4K 240 FPS. For me, it's a bit of a hype. So I'm not going with a product which is giving me watermark while I'm streaming. And after all of this, my recommendation is still, if you do not want to spend any money or you want to do a simple stream, go with OBS and default settings. You should be able to stream without any issues. But if you have a little bit of technical know-how and you want interactivity, go with StreamLabs. So unless you are a video producer, just like LabTech Show here shown up, so in that scale, use vMix. So vMix is in that scale, vMix or Ecamm Live. So they are in that scale. What I'm talking about is day-to-day people, not like every Joe and every me. So one of them. xSplit have their own NDI interface. They can bring in guests, or I can bring in guests through some other sources, browser sources. So for me, bringing in guests into OBS is no longer a challenge because I can use video.ninja. So xSplit, I think they support this. Yeah, you can bring in guests using Skype feed or NDI. So they allow actually network NDI sources or RTMP stream. They can pull in RTMP stream. But yeah, it's complicated than any other product we talked about. You are right. So now I want to end the show because yes, the desktop tools are not one-to-one comparable with web-based tools, but with Onestream Live or similar products, you will have video recording, multi-streaming, screen sharing. You don't need a powerful PC and whatnot. You can have all your overlays, not the same overlays. You do not have alerts, but you can have intervals. You can share external media. And of course, you can schedule your live stream exactly how I did today. And of course, you have your branding tools and such. So this is not a comparison with OneStream Live. So all those three products that you have seen, they can all connect to OneStream Live and go out to 50 different places in one shot. So there is multicasting, and all of those products didn't support it. So they are mainly multi-streaming, mainly no. So even when you go with StreamLabs, the multi-streaming is limited to 2 or 3 targets. So this is why you need a complementary product to complement multi-streaming. So if you happen to be streaming in multiple different destinations, even you want to stream in Instagram and such, yep, I agree. vMix, OBS, and Ecamm for professionals who wants to level up. No, OneStream Live is not for pre-recorded. I'm not pre-recorded stream. I'm doing live right now from OneStream Live. You get that right? I am doing the live from OneStream Studio right now, live, and I can do things there. So if you actually want to look at it, I will show you here. Now, look at the infinity screen. So I am doing the live from here. You can see the streaming button over here. So anyway, my point is, you can do all of this without having a desktop, without having, you can even remotely stream it. For example, you are in a different country traveling, but you want to do the stream, you can do it with OneStream Live Studio or similar products, those who have Live Studio Online. So I only highlighted the one part of it. And no, LabTech Show, you have a wrong conception of this. OneStream Live is not only for pre-recorded streams. No. It is for multicast. It goes into multiple destinations at the same time. It also can do pre-recorded, and it also can do studio. It also can do blah, 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 many other things, schedule streams and whatnot. So there's that. Now, I should end the stream. I think I have crossed my mark. Yep, I crossed my mark way over. So what am I going to do? I will close this down. Yes. So yeah, there is a comments panel in the OneStream Live. The studio already have that. It has intervals and such things. So I'm looking at your comments and stuff. I can even do this, not OneStream Live. I can do it in OBS. Wow, what happened? So for some reason, I think I'm running too many programs at the same time, and it disconnected my camera, even though I am right now in the stream. No, I'm not. I'm not bringing in OBS. The OneStream Live Studio is independent. Why would I bring in OBS? It's not necessary. So anyway, my camera is having issues, even though I can see in my studios, but I think I have played with it too much. and it started to make problems for me because my camera is shared and it can have this type of problem. So anyway, thank you for staying up this late. I know it's more than an hour. And thank you, Andrew, and LabTech Show, Nilesh, of course. And if you like this video, do take a moment to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like, put the thumbs down, which is fine. I will learn something from it. And subscribe to the channel. It helps me to make more useful content for you to bring your live streaming experience higher. So everything that I learn every day, I share this in a educated manner. At the same time, if you have any comments, throw it in the comments box. Yeah, thank you everyone. No, I'm just putting up something. So I will see LabTech Show put on something to topple that up, right? So there's that. It's a friendly competition between me and Corey. And he helped me to understand more about live streaming. And I get to learn from him. And now I am trying to put some pressure onto him. So that's for all for now. I hope you will stick around for the next Wednesday show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying. It means a lot for me. And with that, I would say goodbye for now and good night from this side. I will see you in the next show. Bye-bye.